अच्छा, are we doing this in English or Hindi or Punjabi? 3 choices हैं आपके पास.
सर मैं कहता हूँ हिंदी पंजाबी में.
हिंदी पंजाबी.
कुछ नहीं रखा है इंग्लिश में. नहीं लगे.
कुछ भी कर सकता हूँ मैं. आप मेरे को बता दो बस 2-3 hours I can start now.
मैं कहता हूँ पूरा दिन में.
I'm a very lazy person. So I don't ever at all. So I never used to get enough food. That used to be my problem. Good times rejected it, saying that this is very strange. It looks very different because, you know, I am not a conventional looking guy. And Abhinandan were instrumental when they got together and launched it. I am a outsider. I just happened to fall into it because Mayur very kindly and graciously asked me if I wanted to do it with him. It was a 2-man show always, 2-person show.
किसी प्लेस पे जाते हैं तो उनको कैसे कन्विंस करते हैं कि हम कैमरा लाएंगे, हम आपका खाना टेस्ट करेंगे, या इससे उनको बेनिफिट क्या होगा, अल्टीमेटली वो आपको क्यों अलाउ करे अपनी प्लेस पे.
हमारा क्या होने वाला है? You can't come and tell me उसके great grandfather ने मेरी भैंस चोरी कर ली थी. I mean, today this is something that none of you know and you should know this. None of my social media channels are monetized. So I make no money on my social media per se.
Neither YouTube, no Instagram, nothing.
No Instagram, no YouTube, no Facebook, no X. Not a single rupee from any of these channels. I work very hard to bring sponsors who believe in me and believe in the message that I put out. And then I use those sponsors to promote the restaurant industry.
Okay.
So I'm the only one who you'll find going to little dhabas and hole in the walls, which they can't afford anything.
Welcome to the today's episode and चेहरे पे smile देख रहे हो मेरे भाई, because I tell you, when I was a kid, the first thing that I saw on TV related to food, this man used to host with so much of energy and potential कि जो English आज मैं बोल रहा हूँ ये तो मैंने बहुत बाद में सीखी है. उनकी English ऐसी थी कि हमको आती ही नहीं थी. तो we used to refer to dictionaries और उस टाइम पे ना YouTube होता था, ना बैक कर सकते थे, ना पॉज कर सकते थे. बट एक फन एलिमेंट जो क्रिएट करा उन्होंने, दैट वाज मैग्निफिसेंट. और भाई साहब, एक व्यक्ति अपना वेट ऐसे लूज करता है कि एक बार उन्होंने अपना 34 किलो वजन क्या कम करा, दैट बिकेम हेडलाइंस फॉर एवरी नेशनल न्यूज़पेपर. फ्रॉम हाईवे ऑन माय प्लेट टू रोड ट्रिपिंग विद Rocky. Yes, I'm with Rocky Singh today and I'm having goosebumps because जिसको आपने कभी 20 साल पहले अपने टीवी स्क्रीन पे देखा हुआ है ना, आज एक स्क्रीन उनके साथ शेयर कर रहा हूँ. सो इट इज माई एम कि मेरे को बस उनसे बातचीत करनी है, कुछ सीखना है, कुछ सिखाना है. सो आई एम वेलकमिंग on behalf of my audience a very warm welcome to the show, sir.
Thank you so much, Rishabh. It's wonderful to be here. आपने तो बहुत अच्छी बातें बोल दी हैं. डिक्शनरी का ही बोल दिया. You know, as my hero Mr. धर्मेंद्र would say कि मुझे शशि परूर ना बना देना. थरूर तो नहीं हो सकता. So no.
ये बस यही बातें करनी है सर मेरे को अभी.
Yeah, the English is quite simple and basic, but it's a lot of fun. And thank you for having me on your program.
I can recall our meeting जो हम कभी एक gathering में मिले थे.
बिल्कुल.
And I was very hesitant to approach you, but there were few people who made that moment very comfortable. And hats off to those peoples, all chefs of course. So, sir, starting with your journey into the realm of food. उससे पहले you have got into multiple businesses, ups and downs, everything. So, आपको क्या लगा that कि बचपन से लेके उस एज तक कि आपको फूड में कुछ करना चाहिए और फूड में भी कुछ अलग करना चाहिए, नॉट ओपनिंग अप अ रेस्टोरेंट, नॉट कुकिंग प्रोफेशनली, all together into a different stream which was not prevalent that time?
If we work backwards from the ultimate answer, that is laziness.
Acha.
I'm a very lazy person. So I don't ever want to work at all. But, ever since I was a small child, I was very fond of food.
Okay.
It has been a passion for me always. And I was a professional sportsman. I used to play for a club. I played hockey for India juniors. I played, boxed for Delhi State under 16. I played football for a club. So I did a lot of sports. I was in SRCC. I was a sports admission before you start thinking that I studied very hard. I'm a genius, but... So I did a lot of sports all my life. And as a sportsman, you have to consume a lot of food. You know, my son is an athlete now. He has to consume 8,000 calories a day because he's training so much and working so much. So I never used to get enough food. That used to be my problem.
Oh.
So my passion for food kept growing because, I mean, how much can a, mother pack in one tiffin or two tiffins? And how much can you carry? So 2 tiffins used to finish before assembly. By the time I reached school, 2 tiffins used to be empty. So food was always a passion. And then as I started traveling, I joined airlines. When I passed out of college in 91, I joined British Airways for 4 years and then KLM. And because of that, I traveled the world. So that palate then started experiencing different flavors. And that's when my real fascination for food started. And since then, I've just been loving food from all over the world. And it's been fantastic.
लेकिन ये जो आपने एक आई वुड से कि एक फील्ड है कि आप मीडिया एंड फूड को रिलेट कर रहे हो, तो वो कैसे माइंड में आता है कि कि ऑन एयर जाकर के कि आप किसी चीज को एक्सपीरियंस करोगे और वो एक्सपीरियंस आप ऑन एयर टू द जनरल पब्लिक आप शेयर करोगे. So what went into your mind and how did you convince people? Mayur sir भी साथ में थे and also how did that came into existence?
अच्छा, are we doing this in English और हिंदी और पंजाबी? 3 choices हैं आपके पास.
सर मैं कहता हूँ हिंदी पंजाबी में.
हिंदी पंजाबी
कुछ नहीं रखा है इंग्लिश में.
चलो ठीक है, we'll mix it up. तो I think 2000. So Mayur has been my neighbor and my friend since 1976.
Oh.
So we were always, we grew up together, literally. He's 3 years younger than me. So I'm more grown up than him. I'm more mature. तो वो और उसको भी खाने का बड़ा शौक था. So both of us used to just eat anything we could find and everything we could find all our lives. So I think when we got an opportunity to do this, as best as I remember now, somebody was doing it first. Some cousin of Mayur was going to do the show, but he couldn't do it for different reasons. Then somebody else was approached to do it, and then finally the guy who directed it, he met Mayur and asked him, and then Mayur introduced both of us into that situation.
Okay.
So thank you very much, Mayur, for starting Highway on My Plate and doing this. All credit to Mayur Sharma. He is a wonderful guy. तो वहाँ से बस हम लोग पहुँच गए and we started shooting and we had fun. तो जो पहला शूट था, I remember the channel NDTV Good Times rejected it, saying that this is very strange. It looks very different because, I am not a conventional looking guy. Now I am very neat and clean as I'm older, but earlier I had a ponytail and beard and, tattoos और थोड़ा सा body बना के घूम रहे थे आसपास. So it was very difficult for them to understand that what this food show is going to be. But I think when we were shooting it for the second time, shooting a pilot, तो 3 script थे हमारे पास. Those days the phones never used to be as friendly. So we had 3 scripts, one for Mayur, one for me and one for the director.
Okay.
तो वो मेरे को इतनी irritation हुई script से. I hate scripted. I hate people telling me what to do.
script में मतलब for audience to understand?
कि अभी हम पहुंचे हैं मूर्थल में ढाबे में और आलू के परांठे और दाल खा रहे हैं, तो you will take a bite of the parantha and Rocky turns around and says, the delectable flavor of aloo ka parantha served hot with white butter, nothing quite matches it. So I was like, हे भगवान, ऐसे लोगों से ऐसी लाइनें बुलवाओगे, ऐसा हो ही नहीं सकता है. So I said, let's be real, just खा रहे हैं, जो मूड में आ रहा है बोल रहे हैं. How does it matter whether it's whatever, like I said, English, Hindi, Punjabi, Tamil, Telugu, whatever, just say whatever you feel. So I took those 3 scripts and we were shooting. I still remember we were shooting in the kitchen जहाँ पे भट्टी में परांठे बन रहे थे. तो वो तीनों स्क्रिप्ट मैंने ली और I said, अगर मैं इसमें कागज फेंक दूं तो क्या होगा? I said, जल जाएंगे. I said, आपको कोई प्रॉब्लम नहीं है? I said, नहीं. So I threw them in there. तो all the 3 scripts caught fire. So the guy was like, परांठे में ऐश चल जाएंगे. I said, पहले पूछा था, तभी तो पूछा मैंने. He said, मेरे को क्या पता आप seriously फेंक रहे हो? So I said, I'm throwing it here. So the director came and said, okay, next shot, let's go through the script. And I was like, script to jal gayi. So he said, what do you mean jal gayi? I said, chodo yaar, let's just do it like this. So I think we had a lot of fun. Our director is a gentleman called Abhinandan Sekhri. He runs a company called News Laundry. Some of you may know this, some of you may not. Abhinandan started Highway on My Plate. I mean, Mayur and Abhinandan were instrumental when they got together and launched it. I am an outsider. I just happened to fall into it because Mayur very kindly and graciously asked me if I wanted to do it with him. It was a two-man show always, two-person show. So he could have asked any number of beautiful ladies, but he chose me. So very kind. So that's how it all began. Yeah? Just as fun, and Abhinandan has a great sense of humor. He's got a very dry sense of humor. I have my own sense of humor. Mayur had his own. So it sort of started from there and became something. And I think people enjoyed it because it was something unlike anything else.
Exactly.
I don't conform. I've never been a conformist. People ask me, do you have an education in food, formal education? So I said, yes. I joined Institute of Hotel Management, Pusa Road. I'm from IHM Pusa. I left. I wanted to get away from my college and become a chef. So I went to IHM. I went through the very, very difficult interview process and written exam and everything. And I got selected. I went and paid the fees. And I walked in, and in 15 minutes, I left. I left, or I was thrown out. I'm not sure. I think it was a combination of both things. Because I walked into the college, there was nobody there. It was whatever. I don't remember the time. Let's say 8 o'clock. I walked in 8 o'clock. There was no one there. It was literally empty. So I was like, where's everybody? So I was walking down. I see this young gentleman walking with me. I thought maybe he's a senior. So I said, boss, where's everyone? Yeah. So he said, do you know who I am? So I said, sorry, I don't know. He said, I'm a teacher. What are you doing here? It's time for assembly. So I said, college mein assembly kaam karta hai? I've been in college in SRCC for a year. There's no assembly in college. And how you dressed like this? Look at your hair. Look at this. Look at this. So I was like, galti ho gayi, boss. So I said, okay, I think I'll miss assembly because I'm late. Is there a shop where I can buy a smoke from? And you're like, how dare you? I'm your teacher. So I said, I'm ja raha hu, yaar. So I went into the assembly. I walked in. Everybody was wearing suits and looking really nice and crisp and clean. And the principal looked at me and said, this is not the way you should come to college. So I said, you know what? Abhi ho gaya. 10 minutes, I'm done. Thank you very much. I'm going back to my college. I don't want to do IHM anymore. And I left.
Okay.
And I don't tell this story. I only started telling it about 3 years ago because I found my receipt from IHM. Because earlier I didn't have it, so nobody would believe me. But now I have proof. So I started telling people this story again.
You want me to ask more questions, or you want to get this carried on? Because सवाल पूछने की मुझे जरूरत नहीं लगी.
कुछ भी कर सकता हूँ मैं. आप मेरे को बता दो बस 2-3 hours I can start now.
मैं कहता हूँ पूरा दिन बैठते हैं. So taking this forward, जैसे आज तो काफी it has become a business. किसी को प्रमोट करना है या कुछ नया आ रहा है. पहले जब आप किसी प्लेस पे जाते हैं तो उनको कैसे कन्विंस करते हैं कि हम कैमरा लाएंगे, हम आपका खाना टेस्ट करेंगे, या इससे उनको बेनिफिट क्या होगा, अल्टीमेटली वो आपको क्यों अलाउ करे अपनी प्लेस पे? तो वो कहीं ना कहीं हेजिटेंट थे, एंड एट द सेम टाइम हाउ कॉन्फिडेंट वर यू बोथ कि यू वुड डू जस्टिस टू दिस शो?
So that's a very interesting question, a very good question. You're right. There was no social media, so people had no idea what they're going to do, what's going to happen when we get there. But it started off a really healthy practice for me. A lot of research.
Okay.
So we would do a lot of research. We would contact the best known places, the most famous places, serving the tastiest food that people loved. The criteria for me for good food is always the maximum number of people love it.
Okay.
There'll always be people who will hate food. I mean, people hate Mahatma Gandhi. तो हमारा क्या होने वाला है? Somebody was telling me the other day, Madhuri Dixit is not a good dancer. I was like, oh, bilkul, absolutely. So what chance do I have? Or people like us, we have no chance here. If those people can be critiqued. So it was not anything to do with that, but it was a lot of research.
Okay.
So, like Murthal, let's say, we wanted to go there. So we did a lot of research saying, which one is the most popular for people from Delhi who are heading out, people who, either do motorcycles or cars or whatever, and I don't like taking names, but we decided to pick on Gulshan, because those days, 2007, Gulshan was the fastest growing and very beloved. Even now it is. They all are. There's a lot of excellent places in Murthal. So after the research, after contacting him, after requesting him that we will take 3-4 hours to shoot, there'll be 10 people, 2 cameras, audio, ye, wo. When they would agree, then we would go there and shoot. So initially, because nobody knew, it was the first season. So it was very hard. And sometimes people would say, oh, we don't want this. Dhande ka time hai, our food is...
Indian mindset wahi hota, like don't spoil that business.
Don't spoil it. So they said, we don't want anything, we don't want. But I think when the first series came out, it exploded. It just sort of reached everywhere. It was shocking, the number of people. I mean, people started recognizing me on the streets. People started talking to me. The restaurateurs started coming and saying, I watch your show, it's very good. Or everybody. So I think that was a surprise. After that, it became very easy. Wherever we used to go, people used to be like, "Arey, come, we've seen your show, wonderful, shoot our show also." But I think research and contacting people before was the key to that show. Even today, when I go to a restaurant, I make it a point to do a lot of research. I don't just land up at a place. I do a lot of research. I speak to a lot of people who I trust. I mean, like I said, food is subjective, So you may love something, I may hate it. But I speak to people who are like-minded, who I trust, and I say, I'm coming to your city. I was in Chennai recently. I called up 3 of my friends and I said, I'm coming. Tell me the names of the restaurants that I must go to. So I got a few restaurants. Then I tallied whether they were common. And then I did a lot of research on seeing how people like it. And once that is done, then I go to that place. Because the point is, shows like mine, or you said there are a lot of bloggers and vloggers, etc. now. I think the important thing is to tell people where to go. Don't tell people where not to go.
Okay.
I mean, if I open a site, let's say I come to an Instagram page and I open it and I find somebody there who's saying, "Hey, this is useless. Don't come here. The food is horrible. The place is horrible." What's the value of that in my life? There's no value. The value is if somebody is sitting there and saying, "Hey, this place is really good. You must come here. A lot of people love it. This is where you should go." That gives me a solution. To tell me what's not good is not a solution. It's like 2 people getting married. You can go to someone and say, that guy is an alcoholic, this woman is a drunkard, that guy has 6 boyfriends, this girl. No, you're not interested in that. Yeah, there's a whole world out there. Just say, look, this person is very compatible with you. Your families are similar. You have similar
Add
values.
value to life.
Add value and say, so look at him as a solution, or her as a solution. So those kind of things make more sense to me. I don't like to waste your time and my time. I talk too much as it is. I've been talking. I've not given him a chance to speak. Poor Rishabh has been trying to ask a question. But so I think that adding value to people's lives, and then people ask me, why don't you critique the food? Why don't you say anything bad about the food? Because there's nothing bad to say. If I find a place which I think is wonderful and I research it and thousands of people want to eat there, the food is going to be good. There's no chance the food is going to be bad. So I have nothing bad to say because I have done my homework here. If I don't do my homework and just land up at a shop and start eating, the food is not good, I'll say it's not good. I've said it a few times on the show. Somebody asked me, what's your lowest rating you've ever given on air? It's 1 on 10. It was a dhaba kind of place in Himachal on, I don't remember where exactly it was now. And the guy said, so give our rating, what do you think? So I said 1 on 10. He said, why? I said, because I can swallow it. But apart from swallowing it, there's nothing else. This food is horrible. You don't know how to cook. You should not be allowed into a kitchen. And the director was like, what are you saying? We're shooting. So I was like, yeah, I'm saying what I feel, like I always do. This is your first bad review. I said, because the first time I've eaten bad food. We always...
As simple as that.
We were in Chel somewhere. It was high up and it was snowing and, it was raining and we were not able to go to the place we had researched. So we ended up going to another place. The gentleman was kind enough to let us come in. So, thank you. It was very kind of him. But I'm not going to lie for people here. So that's not going to happen. And marketing and all that stuff is good. But if you have to listen carefully to what people are saying. So if I go someplace and there's 50 things to eat and I say, the butter chicken over here is really good and the garlic naan is excellent, then I'm only talking about 2 things. I'm not saying once you come in here, everything is going to be good. We gave that marriage example just now. I'm not, if the boy is very good or the girl is very good and they're well educated and they match each other and they have similar outlooks, I'm not saying that the boy's father is not a drunkard, or the girl's father is not run away with somebody else. I'm just saying the girl and the boy are compatible.
And not the family.
I'm not talking about the rest of the family. You can't come and tell me uske great grandfather ne meri bhains chori kar li thi. I mean, that's not my problem. You know what I'm saying? So I can only talk about restaurants. Whether they remain good after 20 years or not is not my problem. This is not my fault. So I will only tell the truth. And there's a lot of people who believe me, who have a similar palate to mine.
Yes.
And they follow me. And the others who don't, I absolutely understand. They follow somebody else, which is fine.
एवरी फर्स्ट टाइम बिकम्स अ मेमोरेबल थिंग. जैसे कोई चीज लाइफ में फर्स्ट टाइम होती है. आपको याद है कि जब आपने ऑन एयर फर्स्ट एपिसोड करा या उसके बाद यू वेंट आउट एंड समबडी अप्रोच्ड यू एंड उस आपको पहला फीडबैक क्या मिला? पॉजिटिव एंड नेगेटिव आल्सो.
So yeah, I remember the first time because I have a bad memory with names and faces. I've always had it. I don't know why. Food I never forget, but names and
नहीं ये
faces I
याद
do.
रहेगा मेरा क्योंकि रिकॉर्ड कर रहे हैं.
हाँ वो तो इतनी देर बैठे बात कर रहे हैं. So I think first time I went out and somebody walked up and said hello. Now the instant reaction for anyone is you think it's someone you know. So I said, damn, this is like somebody I know, somebody who's a family member, such a warm hello. It must be somebody very close. I was like, hello, how are you? Good to see you. And then suddenly the guy was like, what happened? And I was like, so, हमने आपका show देखा है. I really enjoy your show. And I was like, oh, okay, like that. Sorry, you said hello so nicely. I thought you're someone I knew. Yeah. So, no, I don't know you. So I think that was the first time. And, my son was a little boy. He was born 2003. So he was 4 years old when the show came out. And he was a very affectionate child. We're Punjabis, we're very affectionate. We're huggy and kissy and, warm and welcoming. And we're that kind of people here. That's who we are. No excuses and no regrets. I'm not ashamed of it. I'm very proud of it. I think that's how the world should be. So he would go and hug everyone. So anytime somebody would talk to me, he would go and give them a hug. So one day I told him, when it started happening once, twice, 10 times, it used to happen 15 times every time I went out. So I said, you can't keep hugging everybody. So he said, but they're friends. So I said, no, not all of them are friends. Some of them are watching the show, but you can't embarrass everyone. Like there's people coming to talk to me and suddenly one boy catches them. They're like, ye kya? So I said, please, A, you should ask me, and B, you should ask them before you can hug them. You can't just hug everybody. So he said, okay. So that was the initial time. Now, of course, I'm very grateful. A lot of people have a lot of love for the show and, for the way I operate it, for the way I run my vlogs and videos. So I really appreciate that. But now it's sort of become a habit. Now, you understand that this is going to happen and I appreciate it a lot. There also is the negative things. I think nothing really negative so far. Also, I'm not really bothering anybody. I don't think I come into the realm of this guy did this to me. I'm not. I'm just a happy guy trying to stay smiling. I love food. I'm trying to eat my food and tell people what I think about it. That's it. That's all I do.
Was it enough for you to lead a life that gives you stable earning? Like you were totally invested into this? Season pe season aa rahe the, you were traveling, like a rough idea also that how many kilometers or miles you have traveled around across India or world bhi you have traveled a lot. But was it enough then? Jab aaj to platforms hain, aaj to business ban gaya hai, because it is a very outspoken business to get somebody to promote a cart or a restaurant on a paid basis. But was that time a really confident time ki you should pursue that for your life to give a major share of your time?
I like I said, 91 I started working with airlines. By 2004 I ran 7 companies that I started. And then one of the companies that I ran, which was based out of the US, the office was here. This was with an American company. Somebody offered to buy me out. So I got rid of all my businesses. Whatever money I got for all of them, I got rid of all of them. So 2004, I stopped working, period. So after that, the idea was to just do what I feel like doing. So I'm very, for example, I started doing leadership training in 1991 with British Airways in a course that was called Managing Managers, fast-tracking people they thought had a better future in the company. So I ran that course. I was a candidate for it. I did that course. I found it to be fascinating. So I continued training. So from 2004 to 2006, I ran my corporate training company. And it's a passion project. I still do it, albeit now I do it very little. I do only leadership, and I do it for very select clients who come with with a lot of confidence in my abilities. So that sort of situation was. I wasn't really doing anything. Let's put it that way. I tried to turn pro at golf. I was a scratch handicapper for a few years on with my golf game, but I played with a couple of pros. Sharani Malik, Shiv Kapoor, never forgive you. They made me realize that just being a scratch handicapper doesn't mean you can be a pro.
No.
Pros are really special people, and both these guys were excellent golfers. So they showed me that I can never be a pro. So wo chhod diya. And then when I got into this, it wasn't so much for the money. It was just for the fun. It was fun traveling with friends, with Abhinandan, with Mayur, me. It was a whole gang. We all became very close friends. So it was fun traveling with them. It was good. The money was irrelevant those days. I think for the first episode, somebody gave us 4,000 rupees each. And I still remember Mayur turned around and said, 4,000 rupees, you'll give us or we have to give you? And they were like, huh? And you're like, we're eating and drinking and traveling, so we have to give you the 4,000 or you'll give us the 4,000? And I was like, chup kar, 4,000 to le le. So money wasn't really the criteria then. I think it was just something. And then I carried on my work for a number of years. But yeah. But even today, this is something that none of you know, and you should know this. None of my social media channels are monetized. So I make no money on my social media per se.
Neither YouTube, no Instagram, nothing at all.
No Instagram, no YouTube, no Facebook, no X. Not a single rupee from any of these channels. I work very hard to bring sponsors who believe in me and believe in the message that I put out. And then I use those sponsors to promote the restaurant industry.
Okay.
So I'm the only one who you'll find going to little dhabas and hole in the walls, which they can't afford anything. People are like, oh, this is a paid review. Paid review for a dhaba? The guy makes 500 rupees a day. How the hell is he going to pay for me and my crew and everybody to go and shoot there? Editors, sound guys, technicians, special effects. It'll take him a year's salary to pay for 1 minute. So, these are silly things that people say.
मेरे को लगता है ये जो भी आपने बात बोली है ना, that gives an answer to all those people जिनका मतलब जो आपके पोस्ट पे कमेंट्स होते हैं ना कि आपने तो पैसे लिए हैं so that कि आप promote करें. So in a one liner you gave them all the answers.
Yeah, you can go to my social media sites and see.
Means
they're not
it
monetized.
Makes no sense कि if you are exploring, so अगर आप इस field में हो, that doesn't mean that everybody has to pay. Machhar कैसे मारते हैं? This is an expert opinion. I'll tell you about it later. But it's an art. अब तो इसी पे प्रद्युमन ने भी छोड़ दिया. So, coming to 20s.
Yeah, no, and this is important. This is important for me. It's important that, people understand this. I'm not monetizing restaurants. It is when we started the show in 2007, the passion, the idea behind it was to re-bring Indian food into mainstream. Because at that time, people were all about burgers and Chinese and Japanese was just starting, but everybody wanted to eat chow mein and, everybody wanted to eat burgers and everybody wanted to eat pizzas and everybody wanted to eat all kinds of food, which was internationally doing really well. And there's nothing wrong with it. Please eat it. But my passion always was that in India, we have such incredible food. Nobody knew about it. If you had a conversation with somebody from, let's say, Bengaluru, in those days, it was Bangalore. So technically in 2007, if you asked somebody from Bangalore what they thought about the food of Amritsar, they would say, oh, butter chicken and dal makhani and roti. And if you thought somebody from Amritsar, what they thought about somebody from Bangalore's food, they would say,
sambar idli.
Oh, idli, sambar, dosa. Okay. If somebody really knew, they'd say, okay, and Mysore pak. Then you'd be like, Arey, you really know your food, yeah? You're an expert. So I think that irritated me. That bothered me. A lot of things bother me, and you can see it even now. I get bothered with a lot of foolishness. Really bothers me, and it's a disease, which I hope I don't get infected with ever. I might, but so far I haven't. So the idea was to introduce Indians and say, look at the wealth of food we have. So that focus only comes from regional foods, and regional foods were only found on the street those days. There were very, very few. There were specialized restaurants, but very few restaurants that did a variety of Indian foods. So I think that was the thrust, and it remains to this day. My greatest passion is to introduce Indian food to Indians who have never seen, heard, or looked at it before. And if you see my shows, you will always find foods from India that you have never heard of and never seen before. That is across the board in all my videos. I will always bring you something special that I have not eaten or heard of or seen before.
Even the style is also very different. Like I've seen your series where you eat food at the dhabas and जैसे आप उसको बताते हो ना, that I think adds flavor to the food. मतलब मैं तो खा नहीं रहा. You are making me कि ये थाली है इसमें ये सब है. But the way you possess that, वो मन करता है कि उठ के specially जाएं. And that has made people to leave their place to specially go and explore. जो कि आपकी fan following है, जो कि पहले दिन से और आज तक है, जो कि आपके लेफ्ट साइड में बैठा हुआ है. You understand?
Thank you. Yeah. So, yeah, I think, also nowadays I get a lot more of, oh, my mother and father are great fans of your show. I'm like, ठीक है बेटा, कोई बात नहीं. Say thank you to them. I think it should come from the heart. Food, for me, food is about happiness, number one. It's about joy, it's about love, and it should come from the heart. If you're going to get technical about food, without any disrespect to anybody who's technical, chefs need to be very technical, for example, about their food. All respect to them. Some people who write about food need to be very technical. You can't make mistakes, otherwise you get a lot of abuse from people out there. Indians love to abuse people these days, which is a irrelevant thing. Nobody really cares about your abuse. You should learn how to say nice things. You'll create a better life for yourself. So I think that sort of passion comes out when you take a bite. You want to share the taste and the texture and the flavor and the temperature and the setting and the relevance and the different taste. So I've said these 6 things. If all the bloggers and vloggers out there are watching it, even if they write these 6 things and just say those 6 things, you'll make a comprehensive show. So I think that when it comes from the heart, it's real. And when it's real, then people enjoy it more.
तो मैं यही आपसे पूछ लेता हूँ, apart from you and your show, who are the people or in this realm that you feel are doing exceptionally well?
Oh, there are so many. I mean, Sanjeev Kapoor, of course, was the first trailblazer who opened the path for everyone, knowingly or unknowingly. But, he's a fantastic guy. He's a very loving guy, wonderful, warm person. Padam Shri. So,
मैं काउंट करने वाला था, वो भूल गए थे आप कहना.
Padam Shri है ना? Yes. There are other titles also, but of which I'm sure he's got more also. But that is only one. Yeah. So, so he's a fantastic guy. I think Vikas Khanna is very warm and loving and a wonderful, wonderful chef. He does some great stuff. Bungalow in New York is his restaurant now, which is amazing. I really enjoy Ranveer Brar. He's damn good. He really loves his stories of food and his passion when he's cooking, and he likes to teach people how to cook. So you can see that on screen. That's why he's special. He's a good guy.
Also, you have Ranveer Brar here, no?
There you go.
Yeah. I'll show this on the camera. See.
See,
very young Ranveer, no?
Very young Ranveer, without the beard. Yeah, it's okay, Ranveer. You're still very young. Don't worry. Yeah, but this is one of my favorite chefs ever. This man,
Vicky Ratnani.
Vicky Ratnani, he's a magician. He's monstrous with his knowledge of food.
Yeah. And don't get confused with this look, no, because his look is now matching with his looks. Okay? So that these guys have become everything from food to lifestyle. They've captured it all, kicking us out everywhere.
No, but it's not really different. Like people ask me, you wear these beads.
Yeah.
These were not popular 20 years ago.
Yeah.
So I started wearing them because I've been wearing them since 94. I started wearing them because I meditate with these beads. I'm not religious. Before you ask, I attended a puja that my wife put on for me. This is all my wife's doing. This, however, I meditate every day for the last, I think, 31 years now. Coincidence, I also got married 31 years ago, but that's not why I started meditating.
See, I never asked it. I never asked that. You had in your heart कि यहाँ मेरे को बोलना है.
No, my wife will hear it and say, "Acha, you're trying to imply something." So already I'm getting brownie points. so I think these things are sort of fun, and they're good, and they're important for situations. But I started wearing colorful glass frames, and I started matching my kurtas with them many years ago. The reason why I wear kurtas is because of my size. I can't get clothes from stores. I am now I can get them. Now they have 7XL, so I can buy
7XL.
7XL. Now I wear 7XL. So thankfully, last 2-3 years it's got better. But the shirts are always different. Like this one I'm wearing right now is below my knee. So
But
because
it
this
suits
is
you.
it's a 7XL. Yeah,
But
it's
it suits you.
this is an old size. So
Whatever your shorts, no?
no need to wear shorts. Save money. Buy oversized shirts. So yeah, and then I used to wear a hairband with my hair because my hair was all over the place.
Trimmed sides.
Then
with
I
pony
shaved
and
the
all.
sides. This is before it really became popular.
Popular.
But I never invented these things, of course. Men were wearing hairbands for decades, and Vikings were shaving their heads, 1500 years ago. So not mine, but just it was just something. So I've always done what I feel like. Now I've got short hair and I'm very neat and crisp and clean looking. Thank you. So, वो भी try करना चाहिए कभी कभी.
You did a few episodes with Indian Army also,
Yes.
spending time with soldiers on their borders and their base camps and all. How was that experience?
That's wonderful. Yeah, I'm from an army family. I'm the only one in my generation in my family who's not in the army.
Okay.
And the generation before, every single person is in the army. The generation before, every single person is in the army. In fact, my family has been training soldiers for generations since 1810, as far as we know, till 1947. And then, of course, for the Indian Army after that. And then everybody was in the army. So I have a lot of illustrious, great people from my family who are in the armed forces, Army, Navy, Air Force, everything. So I love it. I understand the ethos of the army. I understand the dedication to the Constitution of India, to the oath that the army takes to protect this country and the Constitution. In that order. Country, Constitution, everything else is on the other side of the line. As far as I'm concerned, if there's anybody from the Army, Navy, Air Force watching, I think there's never enough times that you can emphasize country, Constitution first. So when we got an opportunity, we had been trying to talk to Army, Navy, Air Force and go there. But it was very difficult to get permissions. It takes forever. And, I don't like doing illegal things. None of us do. So I think it took us almost 2 years to get permissions to be able to start shooting that show for NDTV Good Times.
Who had that idea of including armies into?
Oh, this I remember. The first meeting we had, we were sitting down, and one of the producers, Prashant Sareen, his name is, he's Sushant Sareen's brother. Sushant is a famous political commentator. So I think Prashant and I were talking about the army, and he said it would be wonderful to do a show if we could with the armed forces. And then everybody else joined in, and then we said, okay, let's start doing this anyway. Let's start trying to get permissions. And he said, I'll make a couple of calls. And he tried a few calls, and he said, permissions are difficult, as they should be, because, security is everything for the armed forces. But they were very gracious and very kind, and we got permission to cover the food that the army does. And just a basic overview, touch upon briefly, not get into too much detail. And everything was cleared at that time through a process where everything was vetted and looked at, etc., etc. So I think that's how it came about. And the show went on. We did about 3 seasons, 36, just under 3 seasons, 35 or 36 episodes with different units of the Army, Navy, Air Force. It was called Jai Hind with Rocky and Mayur. Some of the episodes are online. They are fantastic. I mean, I remember the aircraft carrier was phenomenal. Siachen Glacier was unbelievable. A submarine, going down in a submarine was memorable. Never forget it. Just all of them. I mean, there were so many special people. Tanks, my father was in the Armored Corps. So tanks was always very close to my heart. I had no idea what they were because I hadn't really spent time, I lost my father in the 1971 war with Pakistan. I was 2 years old at the time. So I had no idea what tanks are. So that was fascinating. The commandos were incredible. Just all of them. I can keep taking names. The helicopters were wonderful. The Sukhois were brilliant. We've done episodes on all of these. If you haven't seen them, you should. I think they're still fairly well representative of units of the armed forces with a fair amount of idea. You'll get a fair amount of idea of what it really does for you. So, my advice.
Likewise, in the army, I think you were the pioneers to work and showcase the commercial kitchens of the hotels and to speak with the chefs.
Yeah.
I remember one of your clipping with, I think he was Chef Imtiaz Qureshi sir, who passed away. That he was, teaching you and Mayur sir that how should a vocabulary of a Lucknowi person is.
No. That was my friend.
Okay, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Because I saw that clipping, very old clipping that was. मतलब अंधेरा हो रहा था और वो आपको ये बता रहे थे कि जनाब कबाब सेके जाते हैं, बनाए नहीं जाते.
So
it's something
that gentleman is from Lucknow. Nawab Saab was he's royalty, and he had a wonderful. He passed away sadly, like I said, just after COVID. He had a wonderful ability to involve everyone and a very interesting way of speaking. So we were just chatting, we were just walking in, and I said, Nawab Saab, khana ban gaya? We were not shooting. So he said, अरे खाना बनाया नहीं जाता है जनाब, बेवकूफ बनाया जाता है. So he started laughing. I was like, that is such a good line. This Hazir Jawabi of UP ki Hazir Jawabi is unique. Nobody else in the world has it.
You can never win that.
Yeah, you can never win that. Yeah. You can never
win that.
No, I mean, every state has got its own. If you trouble somebody from Punjab too much, the winning blow will come instantly. You trouble someone from Haryana, they'll just dismiss you with such brilliance. But I think every state in India is fantastic. I would recommend that you be really nice to your fellow Indians because a lot of them will beat you senseless if you're not.
So मेरे को ये बताओ ना कि जब आप local places
तो उनका नवाब साहब का तो उनको फिर मैंने कहा कि आप सर ये तो बहुत अच्छी लाइन है, आप और लाइन बनाओ ना ऐसी. So he said, अरे नहीं, it's very rude. वो तो मैं मजाक में बोल गया आपको. So I said, rude क्या है? This is very funny. आप बताइए और बनाइए line. So he sort of came up with 4 or 5 lines. And then when we walked up and started the shot, we walked up and said, खाना बन गया नवाब साहब. And then he just took off. And I think then it became very.
अब वो 5-6 लाइन तक he didn't even breathe उस time में. जनाब खाना बनाया. मतलब that.
वो
throw off.
वो फिर दिल से निकल रही थी उनके कि ऐसे नहीं खाने. He loved his food.
Yeah. And it was more like he was scolding 2 of you.
No, he loved his food, but at some point he realized that ये दोनों जंगली, they're only here to eat the food. They have no respect for the intricacies of the food. So no, but he wasn't. He was a wonderful, loving man and a very, very good friend. And my regards to his brother and to his family. I still speak to his brother, not as much as I'd like to, very rarely, but he and I were friends, and that clip has gone viral several times.
Yes.
Every 3-4 months it comes out. Roti, naan लगाए जाते हैं, पराठे तले सेके जाते हैं, पूरी तली जाती है, अचार डाला जाता है,
कबाब सेके जाते हैं.
So he was a fantastic man.
My question was कि जब आप रीजनल फूड एक्सप्लोर करने लोकल टाउन्स में जाते हो तो वहाँ पे जो लोकल पब्लिक होती है, उनकी लैंग्वेज होती है, उनका एक पहनावा होता है, उनका एक अपना कल्चर, एक अपना ट्रेडिशन होता है. आपके साथ भी आपने ये बहुत एक्सपीरियंस करा है. कई बार ये बैकफायर हुआ आपके ऊपर कि कई बार अगर आप उससे रिलेट ना कर पाए हो एंड यू गॉट समथिंग दैट वाज नॉट एक्सपेक्टिंग.
सो आई थिंक दिस इज समथिंग दैट इज वेरी क्लोज टू माय हार्ट. आई थिंक रिस्पेक्ट इज वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट. Even with my children, as was with me when I was a child, every time somebody spoke to me, whether they were my grandparents or my parents or uncles, aunts, whatever, with a lot of respect. So even if you say, don't do that, you broke that, that's not right, it would be done with a lot of respect. You would just come and say, you broke that. That was valuable to me, but you've done it. I don't approve of that. I don't think that's a nice thing. I think you should go to your room and chill. But don't do it again. I'm not happy with it. So it was a lot of respect. So I think that natural respect, and of course, being from an army family, speaking to people with respect and sincerity, I think that is very important. So when we go to a new culture, I mean, I remember going to this shop, in Tamil Nadu, where there was a very special dessert that we were getting. There were huge crowds outside. We couldn't even get to the shop. We couldn't even reach there. It was that bad. And the cameras were on and everything. And so at one point, I just turned around and said, oh, I really wanted to eat that. And suddenly I was doing this and somebody put one piece in my hand. So I looked up and there was one guy standing smiling. He was like, eat, eat. So I took a bite. Now like, oh my God, I'm gone. Like one more, one more, one more. So I think it happened 2 or 3. We didn't speak our language. We didn't speak his language. He only spoke 2 or 3 words of English. He heard eat and he said low. So that appreciation for the food, that respect for him, for, thank you for giving me that piece. And I think people around saw that and suddenly everybody just parted and they were like, come on, go in front, go and, not speaking the language, but they were like, go. So we went and gave the money and took the mithai and came out and ate it. And so I think food translates all boundaries here. Food and love, 2 things which should go together, translate all boundaries. And if you can approach things with food and love, I don't think anybody will have a problem with it.
While exploring all these stuff and all, what other, habit or what other interests of your kept you invested with time in some other things? Like मैं तो काफी देर से देख रहा हूँ, you have multiple genre की books हैं आपके पास, like you from National Geographic to chefs, ये Indian Railways and all.
Yeah.
And by speaking to you, फिर golf का भी एक मतलब sportsman भी है, आप गाने भी गाते हैं.
मैं गाता हूँ, बहुत बुरा गाता हूँ.
मैंने उसमें लिखा हुआ था कि एक पॉडकास्ट के लिए उठा के रखना. So
I'm not.
Means what are the other interests that keeps you, alive and kicking?
I think I'm from an older world. I'm very
What
happy
makes
to
you say
that.
that?
I'm 56 years old, number one.
Okay.
So I'm not a spring chicken anymore. Plus, when I grew up, people and books were the greatest source of knowledge.
ठीक है.
And you couldn't get knowledge sitting on the computer on your own. So you had to deal with people. So you had to, if you wanted to know anything about anything, I still remember my uncle, we are, the family, after they retire, they all are farmers. So I still remember the water was being released
In the farms.
in a farm in the wet season. So I said, but it's already raining so much, why are you releasing water? So he said, don't ask me. You see that man sitting there, go and ask him. He is the guy who runs it all, he'll tell you. So I went to talk to him and he explained it to me. So, that lesson you learn, that in my time, getting information from people was absolutely critical and getting information from books was much easier. Now you get information from online. And books and people both have a way of giving information that is a little more than what you want. Like of the internet, if you say, what year was so-and-so born in, it'll say this year. So that's your answer. But a person might say, oh, that person, very interesting. He was a damn good chef or very good cook or whatever. And I think he was born in this year. So, the information is more. So you develop a style of talking to people which is a little more than what they anticipate. These days, people's interactions have become very abrupt, very direct. I don't like that. I'm not that guy. I like interactions to be civil, polite, friendly. If you don't have time to meet someone, don't meet them. Nobody's asking you to meet them. But if you meet someone, take some time, relax, share ideas and concepts. So I think because of that, the range of experience became, curiosity has always been something that's been very active with me. So railways, airlines, businesses, real estate, political movements, sports, food, of course, always, religion, philosophy. These are just interests that I've had over the years. And I've indulged them well. Whenever I have free time, I'll pick up one thing. And, I think for 1 year, I pretty much read all the religious books that I could read. And I won't name them, but all of them. So things like that. So I think you'll find an eclectic mix. And like I said, I've just shifted home. So I have 17 cartons of books lying somewhere in storage, which hopefully will be back on the shelf someday. So then you'll really see books.
Yeah. जैसे मैं अभी भी देख रहा हूँ. But that's quite nice. Because ये जो है ना एक passion project होता है किसी का. Especially the world of media. You never are forced to do this. Unless you are an actor's son, you have a legacy to take forward और ये सब. तो my question was कि मतलब you have been, कि time के साथ change होना to be ahead of time so that, you are updated with the trends and everything. So sir, tell me, लोग ये expect कर रहे हैं to understand from you कि was there any collaboration of yours that you regretted doing? Like कुछ collaboration हो चुका था, but the product was not nice up to the mark, or it was not up to your standard. But you, since the collaboration was done, you had to give that verdict.
I think before I collaborate with somebody, I try and understand as much as I can about
So
The
the homework
product.
is already done.
about the product that I'm collaborating.
Okay.
Then I ask myself if I'm okay with it, and because it's a profession, I'm mostly okay with it. There are very few things that I've said no to.
Like?
Religion. Somebody wanted to sponsor my show and some religious aspect wanted to be introduced. I'm not going to get into details. But since I don't really believe in religion, I'm an atheist. And I think humanity is the greatest religion. I think love for your fellow citizens, love for your country, love for your planet, love for the environment, those are important things. I think every religion teaches you that. So I've learned that. So I think I've done enough. A lot of people talk big about religion, but they have so much hate and anger and, violence, and it's all wrong here. I don't think religion is relevant like that. I mean, the point is very simple. Has one God made all of us?
No.
Different gods have made us?
No.
So
Because I'm also an atheist.
Oh, you're also an atheist? Okay. But well done. But if you ask somebody, you say, so who's the real God? You say, my God is real. You say, okay, so one God has made all of us. You say, yeah, then why do you hate others? Because he's only made them. So there is, he says, no, my God is
Different.
the only one that's right. The others are wrong. So then there are other gods who have got it wrong. So there are many gods. So there's only one. So, it is a contradiction. So I think if you understand that religion is made for love and service and unity, and there are other things in life which are important, like your family first. If you're not happy in your home with your family, you're not going to be happy. With your community, the people around you, your city, your country, these are important things. These are very important things. And, as a person from an army family, I understand how important they are. Important enough for people to give their lives for. So they are very important. That feeling you must never forget, that there are people there who would die for the unity, peace and love of India. Don't ever forget that. And there are enough of them. There are the ones who try and divide and hate. They are not so many in number. The ones who will fight and die for this country are much more in number. So be very careful when you try and divide this country. It will not work. Unity will work. Love will work. So I think that's an important thing to understand. So that's what I do. But talking about interests, slightly less serious. If you come back down and you see this. So I've been diving now for 34 years. I've been a scuba diver for 34 years. I got my license, I think. I got my license in about 20 years ago, 25 years ago. But before that, nobody asked for licenses, so you're diving without a license.
I never prepared for my podcast. Will you compel me to prepare now, to come next?
In fact, if you go on to YouTube and you see Rocky dives, I put out 15-20 videos of just different dives. I'm too lazy, I don't get to put more of them on, but there are some nice ones. There's one with a whale shark. It was beautiful. It was a lovely moment. There's ones with giant mantas going over my head. That was lovely. So yeah, a lot of good things.
कभी किसी को कुछ खाना देना हो ना, जैसे ये लोग हैं कैमरे के पीछे कुछ, तो एक होता है कि हम यहाँ तक ओपन है ये खाने के लिए. I've seen you experimenting food with पता नहीं कहाँ से वो आइटम्स होते हैं आपकी प्लेट में नॉन वेज की. मतलब with due respect I'm saying this कि your platter is full of such things. How are you so much open to these kind of foods जो कि I think इतने easily available नहीं है. You need to go out for these things, especially.
I think the golden rule is if somebody is eating it, I'll eat it. So, I mean, there are very few things I wouldn't eat.
Like? अब बताओ.
Like wild animals.
Okay.
Nature's creations. See, I'll eat what I grow, or if I pay someone who grows it.
Okay.
Right? So if I go to a poultry farm and the guy is growing poultry for sale for eggs, I'll eat that because that belongs to him. But in a forest, the animals belong to the forest. They don't belong to you. I would never touch them because they're not mine. They belong to nature. Or nature, God, whatever you want to call it, they belong to God.
Nobody owns them.
Nobody owns them. They are independent creatures given, all of us are. We're all given, so, there are many arguments and you can get into irrelevant arguments about everything.
And reach nowhere.
But every living thing on this planet has to eat. Everything has to eat. That's the nature of this planet. Carbon-based life form, which we all are, has to consume carbon-based life form. So, if somebody comes and says, oh, it's better to be vegetarian, only eat plants. I'm like, what about the billions of, locusts that you spray and kill? What about the millions of insects that you kill so they don't eat your food? What about the little rats, etc., that you spray and kill and that water goes into the streams go into the rivers go into the oceans, keeps killing you. So you can't become a moron and just say, oh, no, this is right. It's not right. There are people who live on the North Pole here. Where are they going to eat gobi from? Where are they going to grow it? Nowhere. So you say, but you don't have that situation. I don't. But genetically, I'm programmed to eat certain things. Yeah. I've grown up in a society where everybody ate many things.
Yeah.
So I'm not going to tell you what to eat. Please eat whatever you want. Whatever you like, you eat. There are many strange eating habits in India. So I think khao jo khana hai. But for me, the rule is nothing wild, nothing that nobody else will not eat, and nothing which is, detrimental, can be detrimental to your health. There's a lot of things that you can eat that, like the dure ke beej, make you lose your mind. तो उससे दूर रखो भाई. तो उसके अलावा कोई एक्सेप्शन नहीं.
आपने कितने एक्सपीरियंसेस लिए होंगे? कुछ ऐसा था जैसे भी आपने करा बस आज कर लिया, पहली बार इसके आगे नहीं करूंगा?
मैंने यार बड़े खतरनाक एक्सपीरियंसेस. I think it was our third trip to Nagaland. We were shooting in Nagaland. And, the day before there had been a lightning strike or something had happened and a tree had fallen over. And they found these worms under the tree, which are very unique, very rare. And they're very well loved, apparently. This is the story that we got, was that those are for very special occasions. So they brought that worm, and when we sat down, they'd steamed them. So you just had to eat them. So when they came out, there were 6 when they started. There were 6 on the table. So I said, I'll eat one if one of you can eat it. And everybody there said, no, we can't eat it. I said, why can't you eat it? They said, no, this is only for nobility, people of rank. So I said, but I'm not nobility. They said, no, you're a special guest, so we brought these for you. So I said, I'm not falling for that nonsense. Somebody has to eat it, otherwise I'm not eating it. So finally they found one lady who was, some nobility, and she came and she ate one, and she just went chachak, kachak, kachak, and she was like, yeah, it's very nice, very different. I picked up one and I bit it, and I still remember everybody in my unit was like, sir, kya custard nikla usme? So I took a bite and pachak, that custard came out of it. Yeah. And the skin of it was like a prawn tail, that you can keep chewing it, but it'll never dissolve. It's chitin, it's like made with that special substance. So it stays that way. So I kept chewing it and chewing it, and the smell was incredible and the flavor was so strong. So I had one for the shot. And after it finished, I told people, I said, take a bite. And nobody could take a bite. Our cameraman is, he's my cameraman. He still works with me. 20 years he's been working with me. He's very, he experiments. So he came and picked up one and took a bite. And ये तो नहीं खा सकते sir. आपने कैसे खाया? And I was like, sir, बस खा लिया आपकी दया से. So never again. And of course, other things all over the world. Fermented fish, for example, in Manipur they have ngari. It's a fish that's fermented in a barrel, very strong flavor. So I ate it in a salad to taste it, and it tasted nice, but it was too strong for my palate. So I wouldn't eat it again, unless it was prepared differently. Or, Tungrumbai, or, the Nagas, and in Arunachal, and all over the Northeast, they ferment soybean.
Okay.
So I think they ferment it for a long time, and it really smells bad. Yeah. Akhuni, it's also called akhuni in Nagaland. It's a fermented soybean paste, and when you open it, the smell is incredibly bad. Most people will cook outside the house because inside the house, the smell just takes over everything. So things like that. Akhuni pork is one of my favorites, but I hate the raw akhuni smell.
No.
I enjoy it because it gives a smoky flavor to the pork. It becomes really nice when it's cooked. But if it's not cooked, very powerful. So those things I wouldn't. I can't. And then, there are other things like, horse meat I'm not particularly fond of.
Oh.
Camel meat is too stringy.
Chapli kebab.
When we were shooting with the commandos, they were on survival. So snake meat, I mean, alligator meat is very good. I've had it in a couple of countries outside India. And it's very nice and juicy. I've had burgers made of it. So that's a different one. But yeah, I think that's about it. Baki khane mein to, there is no end there. You should experiment with everything. You see, my point is if you're going to somebody's house or region, respect them. Respect their food. So part of respect is also from eating what they put in front of you.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you can tell them I'm a vegetarian or, I don't eat this meat or I don't eat that meat. That's your choice. You tell them that. They'll respect you in turn and give you what you want. But then you eat whatever they're putting in front of you and that's respect. So I think wo ho jata hai. Plus, right from childhood, army families, we move all over the place. Some family is here, next year they're stationed there, 2 years later they're there. So you tend to move across the country. So you start understanding and eating all kinds of foods, which is what I love.
Do you like to cook also?
Yes.
And what do you cook? Like चलो इसको ऐसे पूछते हैं. What does family demands from you?
Family तो पता नहीं, but I used to run a little outlet making Mughlai Indian food, Punjabi Mughlai.
Where this was
So
exactly?
this was in East Delhi.
East Delhi where?
Trans Yamuna, Dilshad Garden.
Dilshad Garden.
Then 95. So it was a small place, and then you had your butter chickens and naans and tikkas and kebabs and all that kind of stuff. So then it was too much work. Like I said, I'm lazy. That's my problem. It was popular, very popular, but it was too much work.
Everyone would now would say कि काश हम भी ऐसे lazy होते तो ये सब मिल जाता. हम ना आधे lazy रहे ना पूरे active रहे, बीच में अटक गए.
नहीं बड़ा lazy था यार मैं. So that sort of restaurant there, but now for the last 15 years, I have fallen in love with Thai street food here.
Oh.
So I've been making a lot of Thai street food.
And
there's a lot of my friends out there who've come to my house and eaten it and said good things. Please, bol dena mere Thai food ke bare mein achhi baatein. So yeah, so I do that and I think I'm quite good. At least people tell me that.
आपके according food industry में in total I'm asking, not about food blogger or influencer, पूरी food industry में who have been the greatest contributors to taking it up a level higher and making India shine at a global culinary map?
No, I think everybody, I think talking about traditionally, Vikas Khanna has done some magnificent work. Chef Suvir Saran did some great work in America. Chef Bhatia did some fantastic work. He, in Mauritius and in the UK. Camellia Punjabi is terrific. I mean, there are so many who have done great contributions. Lately now we've just got 3 Michelin stars.
Yes.
So,
Chef Himanshu Saini.
Yes, Himanshu Saini from Chessind. So, I've known Himanshu from the time he used to be, before he started Chessind. So, and he was a very, very talented chef. So, I think so many Indians, and I'm sorry, there are so many, and I've omitted so many names, no disrespect to anyone. But there are so many great chefs, and now we are getting a confidence that we can cook, we can create special flavors, we can do special things. And I think that is the only barrier. The only barrier that holds everyone is the barriers you put yourself. That's the only thing that limits you, is your thought. That you say, ye nahi kar sakte hain. I can't do this. I'm not good enough to do that. I can't try this. What will people say about that limitation? Once you remove, you can do anything.
Your top 3 places in India to go anytime anyone says for food of your choice.
Are baapre, very difficult. Since I'm a street food guy, Chowk, Lucknow, Tunde Kababi.
Okay.
Anytime, anywhere, happy to go and eat over there. Second would be Spicy Venue, Hyderabad. I really love the food there. Anytime, anywhere. I can eat as much of it as you want. And really close to my heart. Third mein do bolunga main. They're both from Delhi. One is Have More at Pandara Road.
Okay.
And one is Yum Yum Cha.
Ah.
Those are very difficult to tell apart, but these are my top 4 restaurants. And then there are so many others. There's Karavali in Bengaluru, which is brilliant. I mean, Chef Thimaya is a genius. He's one of my favorite chefs. There is Simply South in Hyderabad. Again, brilliant. There's Chef Reggie Matthew in Chennai. Stupendous, incredible understanding of food. And so many others. So many others. There's a great depth, but this is what's personally close to my heart. But if you ask me which state I like the most for its food, is Kerala.
Oh, that I don't think people would be expecting that, but any reason behind that?
No, they are the masters of spice. They've always cooked with spice. Always. They make magic. Your palate has to grow. When your palate grows, you start appreciating things that you may not appreciate before. Like for Punjabis, our palate is very clean and simple. This butter chicken, and all, ye to abhi ka hai. This is recent. Earlier, Punjabi food in Punjab used to be very healthy, fresh ingredients. So tindas, karela, lauki, tori, bengan, curries, rajma chawals, rice, mutton, fish, chicken, everything. Very fresh, very new. And prepared fresh and served fresh with very little oil, but a lot of hearty food, lots of milk, lots of paneer. So we never had that level of spice in our food. We had enough spice. There was no dearth of it. It was very, very good food. But Kerala, the common man's food, is so rich with spice. People in the West can't even dream of making it because it's so expensive. If you were to replicate, let's say, meen podi chadar, which is the banana-wrapped pearl spot fish, which is one of my favorites. If you were to replicate that in America, it would cost 10 times what it costs over here because those ingredients, you can't get it. So those are my favorites. But I mean, again, there is so much that I love, so many places now. And choosing between what is your favorite dish and favorite food, like choosing between children, you love them all.
यहीं तो कांटा डालना था मुझे.
डाल दिया ना.
Now, 5-star experiences. You have covered palaces.
हाँ.
I've seen hotels. Celebrity chef for owned and run restaurants and all. So a choice of 3 or 4 where do you like to preferred choice of yours?
So I think ITC has a great contribution to the food of India. I think Taj spends a lot of time doing really well. So, personally, I think Bukhara, for example, is outdated. The food is great. It was great 20 years ago, but it's not really moved on from there. It's still what it was 20 years ago. There are eateries in Delhi that have passed it. Have More, Pandara Road, for example. I think the food there is better. That's my call. That's what I say. So, I think 5-star, you have to understand that there are limitations in a 5-star. You cannot express yourself freely because there are a lot of people who don't have the ability to eat your food. So, let's say foreigners, for example. So, the food is tempered down a little bit. Your ingredients are the finest. So, you have to, measure how much you use. You can't set people's mouth on fire, for example, when you're cooking a particular cuisine. So, 5 stars will always be a little restrained in what they put out.
Any experience that you recall while I'm asking this to you that has exceeded your expectation in any manner?
No, always. I think when you go to a 5-star, there is so much work that goes into the food and the cuisine. It always exceeds my expectations. Always. And I'm always deeply impressed by the kind of food that they're making. Now, if you say, let's only talk about taste. So I'd say, taste-wise, I can tell you, the 5 stars are not in my top 3 or 4, as you saw.
Yes.
Right? They're not there.
No.
But when I talk of a 5-star, I'm not just talking about taste. So if you say, what is a good restaurant? What are the parameters you want to base it on? So let's say ambience, comfort, cleanliness, variety, and food. Abhi 4 out of 5 things you can't beat. Nobody can beat a 5-star. They are better. They have better ambience. They have better hygiene. They have way more comfortable. They have ability to get the best ingredients. So will they win every time over all the other food? So it's not a fair comparison. I can't say Tunde Kababi versus House of Ming. Which one is better? You can't.
There's
You
no
can't make
base
that
for
judgment.
comparison.
What do you compare with? Just the taste
Or the whole lot of set parameters.
or everything? The
Yeah.
minute you compare with everything, it's not fair to the others. They'll say, yeah, this is not fair. हम तो ready वाले हैं. How can we compare with the 5-star? But you're comparing your food with the food of the 5-star and saying my food is tastier than yours. Maybe for some people, maybe for others, no. So I think comparisons, comparisons are not a good thing. They're not a good thing. Like, who's a better mother? Your mother or my mother or your mother or your mother? All mothers are beautiful. Yeah. They are all fantastic. God couldn't be there, so he made mothers. Now, how can you pick one mother from another? You can't. So, the same way with food. How can you pick my food will always be better to me. You see Gujaratis all over the world, they're all pulling out khakras and achar from everywhere and eating it. And people like me are going up and saying, please. But the rest of the world is like, what the hell is wrong with these guys? Kya kar rahe ho yaar? So, but that's their food, yeah, they love it. So, how can you say anything?
अच्छा, इसी मोमेंट पे एक बात बताओ, while doing so much of recording, shooting, कोई एक memorable laughing experience, बहुत fun experience हुआ हो shooting पे, मयूर सर के साथ हो या किसी के भी साथ हो?
हाँ, बड़े हैं यार, there are so many.
एक बताओ, एक मतलब
So,
audience मेरे लिए एक.
I think we were advertising.
हिंदी में.
हम लोग एडवर्टाइज कर रहे थे एक मैप, गूगल मैप टाइप का, बहुत पहले. यूरोपियन था कोई, they had started a company, इंडिया में कंपनी शुरू की थी. तो वो मैप के अंदर हमने डायरेक्शन लगाई हुई थी. तो हम जब चल रहे थे सड़क पे तो एक बाइफिकेशन आई सड़क की, और वो जो मैप था वो हमको कहीं और ही ले गया. तो हमको पता नहीं चल रहा था कि कहाँ जाना है. तो मैंने वो देखो, इंडिया में लोगों से पूछते हैं, लोग हमेशा तुम्हें बता देंगे तुम्हें कहाँ जाना है. शहरों में नहीं, शहरों में तो लोग पंगे करते हैं, पर बाहर खुले में पीपल आर सीरियस रहते हैं लोग. तो एक वो भेड़ चढ़ाने वाले अंकल चल रहे थे, 70 साल के होंगे. तो अभिनंदन साथ में बैठा था. सर ऐसे छोड़ना है इसको, अभी ऐसे नहीं पूछ के उदयपुर का रास्ता है, हम लोग उदयपुर जा रहे थे, उदयपुर का रास्ता किधर है वो मत पूछ. इसे पूछते हैं बॉम्बे किधर है, इसको कभी नहीं पता होगा, मैप को तो पता है, इसको नहीं पता होगा. तो ऐसे अरे सब पता होगा इसको, तू चल. सो हम लोग गए, हमने गाड़ी रोकी, मैंने विंडो करी, यार नमस्ते जी, हम लोग ना बॉम्बे जाने की सोच रहे हैं. सो ही लुक्ड एट मी लाइक दिस, बहुत गलत आ गए हो आप. So everybody in the car cracked up. So I said, बहुत गलत आ गए, बहुत दूर है बॉम्बे. आज ना पहुंचोगे तो बॉम्बे नहीं जा सकते आज. तो आप ऐसा करो, आप उदयपुर चले जाओ, वो पास है, ज्यादा दूर ना है. वो साल ने अच्छा बताओ, यहाँ से आगे जाके 30 किलोमीटर पे राइट टर्न है, वहां से राइट मुड़ जाना, मेन हाईवे पे आ जाओगे, उदयपुर पहुंच जाओगे सीधा. वाह. और अगर बॉम्बे जाना हो तो वही हाईवे ले लेना, उदयपुर का बाईपास है, उसे घुमा के आगे सीधा चलते जाओगे तो गुजरात के अंदर आ जाओगे बॉर्डर पे. उसके बाद आप निकल जाना बॉम्बे की. और तमिलनाडु. सो इसे एक टाइम पे एक ही जगह जा सकता है आदमी. सो आई थिंक दैट वाज रियली हिलेरियस. बाकी खाने पीने के मामले में तो हम लोग तंग करते रहते एक दूसरे को बहुत यार, हमेशा. मयूर के खाने में मैंने चिकन डाला हुआ है कभी.
He is a vegetarian ना?
He is a vegetarian.
And you tease him a lot being a vegetarian.
हाँ, वो अपने आप बोलता है कि उसने सब कुछ ट्राई किया एक बार, पर वो वेजिटेरियन वो किसी कारण से नहीं है, उसको ज्यादा पसंद है वेजिटेरियन होना. तो उसके खाने में सब कुछ डाला हुआ हमने, मैंने नहीं, सिर्फ सबने, पूरे क्रू ने.
तो फिर उनका रिएक्शन क्या होता
तो
क्या
फालतू की बात है. बड़े खुश होते थे सब लोग, ओ चिकन खा लिया. सामने हमें कुछ नहीं मिला, इसके कुछ नहीं मिला. एंड मयूर ने कहा ठीक है ना, पहले भी खा चुका हूं मैं, कोई बात नहीं. पर आई थिंक ये ज्यादा मजेदार चीज है. हम लोग जैसे 10 आदमी ट्रैवल करते थे पहले, ऑल मैन क्रू, सिर्फ आदमी होते थे. तो 10 आदमियों के बीच में बेवकूफी के काम काफी हो जाते हैं, काफी हद तक. जैसे सबने खाना खा लिया, उसके बाद बर्प कॉन्टेस्ट के कौन सबसे ज्यादा जोर से डकार मार सकता. तो ये चीजें हमको तो बड़ी अच्छी लगती है आदमियों को, लेकिन जब लेडीज वगैरह होती है तो ज्यादा अच्छा नहीं होता. तो हम लोग वापस आए कहीं से, मेरे घर पे डिनर था, सारी फैमिली बैठी हुई थी, तो मैं खा रहा था खाना सबके साथ. खाना खत्म हुआ तो मैं पीछे करके मैंने मेरी मदर साथ में बैठी थी, फटाक सिर के पीछे। लाइक मैं 50 साल का हो गया, वो ये थप्पड़ किसने पड़ा मेरे को? मेरे टेबल पे बैठ के कोई बर्प नहीं करेगा, तुम बर्प करना उठ के जाओ, एक्सक्यूज मी बोल के। And I was like, गलती हो गई माते। तो और बाकी जितने लोग थे वो सब हंस रहे हैं, एक दो थोड़ा हंसी दबा के और बाकी खुले आम। तो मदर विल ऑलवेज बी मदर, बट तो एक्सपीरियंसेस तो बहुत है यार। अब ये इतना ट्रैवल किया हम लोगों ने, इतना ट्रैवल किया, तो कुछ ना कुछ तो एक्साइटिंग मिलता रहता हमको। हमने एक सीरीज करी थी, इंडियाज मोस्ट हॉन्टेड।
अच्छा।
तो उसमें हम लोग शूट कर रहे थे रात को एक हॉन्टेड जगह में। तो अपने जो असिस्टेंट थे उनको मैंने कहा बैटरी खत्म हो गई, गाड़ी से बैटरी ले आओ, आधे किलोमीटर दूर था। मैंने कहा क्या हुआ? भूत है रास्ते में, चुड़ैल है। मैंने कहा तेरे को कहाँ से दिख गए भूत और चुड़ैल? नहीं मैं अकेला नहीं जाऊंगा। ऐसे अच्छा कोई जाएगा साथ में? तो एक लड़के ने हिम्मत करा, मैं चलता हूँ, चलो चलो। दोनों गए, 10 सेकंड बाद दोनों चीखते हुए भागते हुए वापस आ रहे हैं। क्या हुआ? चुड़ैल नाच रही है, चुड़ैल नाच रही है। तो मैं बड़ा एक्साइटेड, कैमरा वैमरा साथ में, अच्छा भागो, चुड़ैल नाच रही है, शॉट लो, लाइटें लेके आओ। तो सब भागे, वहां पे गए जहाँ पे ये लोग खड़े थे। देखा मैंने, वो आंखें बंद करके दोनों। मैंने कहा कहाँ नाच रही? यहीं पे। मैंने कहा भाई आंखें तो खोले। नहीं चुड़ैल को देखोगे तो वो चिपक जाती है। मैंने कहा कुछ नहीं होता यार, हम सब खड़े हैं, तू बता किधर है? वो नहीं, उधर खड़ी थी। तो पीछे मूनलाइट थी, बीच में तालाब था, सामने दीवार थी। मूनलाइट तालाब पे गिर के दीवार पे पानी की वजह से झलक रही थी ऐसे, उसको चुड़ैल दिख रही थी नाचती।
ये मेरे से कह रहा था आउटडोर में शूटिंग कर लेते। वो तो अच्छा वो करी नहीं।
आउटडोर पसीने हो जाते अब तक तो। सो आई थिंक लॉट ऑफ, so then we all just sat and laughed. क्या कर सकते हो? तो यार आई मीन ये ना एक इंटरेस्टिंग जिंदगी है। जब आप शूट कर रहे होते हो, आप ज्यादा कंट्रोल में नहीं हो, क्योंकि आपके कंट्रोल के बाहर इतनी सारी चीजें हैं कि कुछ ना कुछ उल्टा सीधा तो होता ही रहता है। तो वो आपकी चॉइस है कि अगर आपको गुस्सा हो गए, दिमाग खराब करना है अपना, वो भी कर सकते हो। अगर हंस के बात को टाल के आगे बढ़ना है तो वो भी कर सकते हो। तो आई थिंक मैंने देखा है कि इस लाइन में ज्यादातर लोग रिलैक्स रहने का ऑप्शन लेते हैं, बिकॉज पागल करने वाली चीजें तो बहुत हैं।
एग्जैक्टली। अभी मयूर सर का जब से अपने वो किसी वेंचर में बिजी हुए हैं, देयर हैव बीन रूमर्स अबाउट, हमेशा होता है कि जब कोई पार्टनरशिप में काम होता है या लोग एक जोड़ी को एक साथ देखते हैं, उसमें से जब आप अकेले ये चीज़ें परस्यू कर रहे हो, सो इतने सारे रूमर्स है कि फ्रेंडशिप में ब्रेक आ गया है या कुछ भी हो गया है। एंड ऑन टॉप ऑफ दैट कि आपका स्विगी के साथ एक कोलैबोरेशन है, उनका जोमेटो के साथ है, सो इट इज एडिंग अप टू द हीट ऑफ यू बोथ बीइंग सेपरेटेड या कुछ।
आई थिंक दैट्स फाइन यार, जो लोग बोलते हैं बोलते रहने दो। आपने जो सोचना है आप सोचो, आपको कौन रोक सकता है? तो 3 साल पहले हम लोग शोज कर रहे थे साथ में, देन मयूर लेफ्ट फॉर पर्सनल रीजंस। उसने मेरे को बोला था कि अगर कोई पूछे तो बोल देना आई एम लीविंग फॉर पर्सनल रीजंस। तो मैं यही बोल सकता हूँ कि आपको इज लेफ्ट फॉर पर्सनल रीजन, पर 3 साल पहले, अभी नहीं। तो हम लोग मिलते हैं अभी, वी मेट, अभी NRAI कॉन्फ्रेंस हुई थी, 10 दिन हुए, 15 दिन हुए, वी मेट देयर ऑल्सो। तो मिलते रहते हैं हम लोग, ऐसी कोई बात नहीं है। पर लड़ाई किस बात की यार? वो चला गया, ही हैड पर्सनल रीजंस, ही लेफ्ट। हमारा 2-man ब्रांड था, तो मैंने ब्रांड को आगे परस्यू किया। मेरे को आई हैव टू मेक अ लिविंग ऑल्सो यार। तो मैं अपने आप को गायब तो कर नहीं सकता कि यार अब वो चला गया तो मैं अब अपनी जान ले लूं, या मैं कुछ गोल्फ पे चले जाऊं, वापस गोल्फ प्रोफेशनल बन जाऊं, या मैं स्कूबा डाइविंग इंस्ट्रक्टर बन जाऊं, या मैं शेफ बन जाऊं, रेस्टोरेंट खोल लूं। मेरे को ये अच्छा लगता है तो मैं ये कर रहा हूँ, उसको नहीं अच्छा लगता तो उसने बंद कर दिया, या पर्सनल रीजंस। मैं नहीं कह रहा कि अच्छा नहीं लगता। तो पर 2.5 साल ही वर्क विद हिज, अभी भी ही वर्क्स विद जोमेटो आई थिंक। 6 महीने पहले आई जॉइंड स्विगी एज ए ब्रांड एम्बेसडर, एंड आई एम वेरी प्राउड ऑफ इट। आई थिंक दे आर वंडरफुल कंपनी, बहुत अच्छा काम करते हैं स्विगी वाले। अभी रिसेंटली मैं अपने एक फ्रेंड को, मेरा उसका डॉगी गुम हो गया था, तो मैंने उसको नंबर भेजा, और पॉलिस PAWLIC, अगर आपका पेट गुम हो जाए तो आप उसकी फोटो ऑनलाइन जाके स्विगी में डालो। जितने भी हमारे डिलीवरी पार्टनर्स हैं वो सब कोशिश करेंगे उस एरिया में कि अगर उनको बाय चांस मिल जाए तो आपको फोन करके बताएं या आपकी मदद करें। सो दीज आर ग्रेट थिंग्स है। सो यू नो, एंड एम्प्लॉयमेंट के लिए बहुत अच्छा है। देयर आर मेनी गुड रीजंस व्हाई दीज कंपनीज देयर, बट आई एम वेरी प्राउड टू बी इन स्विगी। आई थिंक देयर अ वंडरफुल कंपनी एंड आई एम रियली एंजॉयिंग इट। तो अभी तो 6 महीने हुए हैं, अभी देखते हैं आगे कैसा चलता है। पर उसकी वजह से कोई फर्क नहीं है यार. हाउ डज दैट मैटर टू एनीबडी? अगर आप एक भाई हैं जो, अगर आप एक एक्टर हैं जो पहले कर्नाटका में काम करते थे, फिर आप तमिल फिल्म इंडस्ट्री में चले गए, तो वो कोई कारण नहीं है आपको हेट करने के लिए. वहां तो कोई नहीं करता. रजनीकांत को तो सब प्यार करते हैं. रजनीकांत वॉज अ बस कंडक्टर पहले, तो वो कर्नाटका के थे, वो तमिलनाडु में चले गए. यहाँ जो भी स्टोरी है मेरे को एग्जैक्टली पता नहीं है. यहाँ धर्मेंद्र हैं, उनको सब पूरा देश प्यार करता है. यहाँ अभी बाहुबली निकली, पूरा देश प्यार करता है उसको. तो ये तो छोटी मोटी चीजें हैं. मैं इधर काम कर रहा हूँ, आप उधर काम कर रहे हो, उसमें क्या प्रॉब्लम है? आप एक रेस्टोरेंट में खाते हो तो उसके साथ वाले रेस्टोरेंट में मतलब कभी नहीं खाना चाहिए. नहीं, तो कंपटीशन तो दिमाग में है ना लोगों के. कंपटीशन तो है ही नहीं. जोमेटो इज अ ग्रेट कंपनी इन इट्स ओन राइट्स. स्विगी इज अ ग्रेट कंपनी इन इट्स ओन राइट्स. मेरे को स्विगी ज्यादा अच्छी लगती है क्योंकि उनका ब्रांड एम्बेसडर बहुत सॉलिड है.
मैं भी वही कह रहा
मैं हूं ना.
मैं आपके पास भी आऊंगा मयूर सर, ये तो करना पड़ता है. मेरे इसमें दोनों है, स्विगी भी थोड़ा थोड़ा है, जोमेटो भी थोड़ा
कहना पड़ता है. हाँ ठीक है. तो दिस इज गुड. सो जैसे मैंने शुरू में कहा था, रिस्पेक्ट एंड लव. सो देयर आर लॉट ऑफ पीपल हु वर्क वेरी हार्ड इन स्विगी. बहुत मेहनत करते हैं. दूसरी कंपनी के लिए भी बहुत मेहनत करते हैं. तो सब अच्छा करें यार. तो अच्छा, रेस्टोरेंट्स कितने खुले हैं इंडिया में, सब अच्छा करें. आप लोग जाएं, खाएं, अप्रिशिएट करें, इनकरेज करें लोगों को. दैट्स अ गुड थिंग.
मेरे लास्ट में 2 सवाल है, वेरी पर्सनल, मतलब नॉट वेरी हार्श और या फिर कुछ डीप.
नहीं, वो मेरे को अच्छा लगे तो जवाब ही नहीं दूंगा. कोई प्रॉब्लम नहीं है. आप पे पूछने की आजादी है सबको.
Had Rocky Singh not been a food associated with food, तो आप क्या होते?
या मेरे को बहुत शौक था. आई वांटेड टू जॉइन द आर्मी.
ठीक है.
इन क्लास 10 एनडीए जाना चाहता था मैं. पर मेरी आईसाइट बहुत खराब थी, तो उसकी वजह से मेरा क्वालिफिकेशन नहीं हो पाया. तो आई वुड हैव लव टू बी इन द आर्मी लाइक द रेस्ट ऑफ माय फैमिली. हम लोग, लाइक आई सेड, जनरेशन से इस देश के लिए हम लोग लड़ते आ रहे हैं. हमारा काम यही है, हमारा पेशा यही है, हमारा जज्बा यही है, हमारा आउटलुक यही है, हमारी डेडिकेशन यही है. कंट्री एंड कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन, ये हमारे लिए तो इट इज द अल्टीमेट थिंग इन द वर्ल्ड. तो आई थिंक आई वुड हैव लव टू बी इन द आर्मी. पर वो तो चॉइस खैर 16 साल की उम्र में चली गई थी मेरे से. तो उसके बाद फिर जो इंटरेस्टिंग लगता है वो करता रहता हूँ. जब कभी 2-3 साल डाइविंग कर ली, 1-2 साल ऋषिकेश में चप्पू चला लिया, राफ्टिंग कर ली, 1-आध साल ट्रैकिंग वैकिंग कर ली थोड़ी बहुत, 1-आध, अभी मैं बर्ड फोटोग्राफी करता हूँ 20 साल से. ऑर्निथोफाइल इंड, अगर आपको याद रहेगा या स्पेलिंग आती है उसकी तो जरूर जाके देखेगा. तो ये मेरी बड़ी प्राइवेट साइट है. मैं इसको, तभी मैंने नाम इतना मुश्किल रखा है कि ज्यादातर लोग देखें ना इसको. तो बर्ड्स एंड एनिमल्स आर माय पैशन. बचपन से मुझे बहुत शौक है आउटडोर्स का. तो आउटडोर्स में मैं बहुत काम कर चुका हूँ. कंजर्वेशन में मैं थोड़ा बहुत मदद कर चुका हूँ जहाँ मेरी हैसियत थी करने की. मेरे बहुत अच्छे दोस्त हैं कंजर्वेशन में. अभी वी जस्ट लॉस्ट वाल्मीकि थापर जी फ्रॉम रणथंबोर. अभी 2 days ago. In 2023 I lost my friend Rocky Singh. आदित्य, उनकी किताबें पढ़ी होंगी यहाँ पे. He is absolutely brilliant photographer. तो इधर ही है, नूर करके, ये रही बिल्कुल राइट ऑन टॉप. तो दिस इज माय फ्रेंड आदित्य सिंह फ्रॉम रणथंबोर. नो सॉरी. तो आई हैव अ लॉट ऑफ फ्रेंड्स इन दिस लाइन. तो मुझे आउटडोर और वाइल्ड लाइफ का ये बहुत शौक है. और मैं अफ्रीका आज तक इसलिए नहीं गया क्योंकि मुझे पता है कि अगर मैं वहां चला गया तो मैं शायद वापस ना आ पाऊँ.
अच्छा.
तो मेरी फैमिली जब भी बोलती है अफ्रीका जाना है, हम लाइक चल सकते हैं लेकिन वापस आऊंगा वो गारंटी नहीं है. एंड दे हैव सीन इट. यार मेरी आदत है, इफ आई लाइक समथिंग आई स्पेंड टाइम विद इट. तो मैं कुछ भी कर रहा हूँ, अगर मुझे, जैसे मुझे एक बार एक बाबा जी मिल गए थे. मेकाडाटू फॉल्स हैं कावेरी नदी के ऊपर. तो एक अर्कावती संगम करके आता है. अर्कावती नदी और कावेरी नदी मिलती हैं. वहां पे एक वाटरफॉल बनती है, उसका नाम है मेकाडाटू. मेकाडाटू का मतलब गोट स्लीप. एक बकरी ने छलांग मारी थी उसके ऊपर से, तो उसका नाम मेकाडाटू पड़ गया. वहां मुझे एक बाबा जी मिले थे, तो मैं 25 दिन उनके साथ रहा वहां पे, बिकॉज ही वाज सच एन इंटरेस्टिंग मैन टू टॉक टू. और मेरा शेड्यूल चल रहा था शूटिंग का अपना. सो आई सेड अब 25 दिन बाद सर पैसा इतना वेस्ट होगा, शूट फिर से रीशेड्यूल करना पड़ेगा. सो आई सेड अभी तो अब मैं नहीं जा रहा कहीं, अब मैं यहीं बैठा हूँ. सो आई हैव डन अ लॉट ऑफ दोज थिंग्स. तो मेरे
तो अभी जैसे मेरे को थोड़ा सा इंटरेस्ट आ रहा है इसमें, व्हाट वाज देयर इन 25 डेज विद दैट सेंट?
अभी वो इंटरव्यू पे कैसे बता दूं इतना कुछ, पर जस्ट अबाउट लाइफ है.
अच्छा.
जिंदगी क्या है, कैसे क्या जीना है, मतलब कॉन्वर्सेशंस तो नॉर्मल थी, पर कौन किस चीज के बारे में क्या बोल रहा है, किस तरीके से बोल रहा है, वो सुनना बहुत जरूरी है. क्योंकि कई बार लोग चीजें बोलते हैं जो आपकी समझ में नहीं आती है, आप सुन नहीं पाते हैं. अगर कोई लेमैन है या कोई बच्चा है जिसका इंटरेस्ट है वीलॉगिंग करने में, वो आपके पास आए और एडिटिंग की बात करनी शुरू कर दे, और आप उसको बोलो देखिए स्टिल फ्रेम लीजिए, 2 शॉट का फ्रेम लीजिए, 1 मिड शॉट का लीजिए, उसको बैक एंड फोर्थ कीजिएगा जब इलेबोरेट होता है ऑडियो में, आपको उसकी समझ में नहीं आएगा आप क्या बोल रहे हैं, क्योंकि उसको उतना आइडिया नहीं है. लेकिन उसका ये मतलब नहीं कि उसका ज्ञान बढ़ेगा नहीं, उसका ज्ञान बढ़ेगा लेकिन कम बढ़ेगा, क्योंकि उसको उतना नहीं समझ. तो वही मेरा सिचुएशन है. तो मैं जब इनसे मिला, दिस जेंटलमैन, वंडरफुल जेंटलमैन, अंग्रेजी में बात कर रहे थे, हिंदी में भी बात कर रहे थे, कन्नड़ा भी आती थी उनको. तो जब मैंने उनसे बात करनी शुरू करी तो इतनी इंटरेस्टिंग थी, हालांकि कितनी मुझे समझ में आई वो मैं नहीं कह सकता, काफी हद तक आई लेकिन बहुत हद तक नहीं भी आई. तो फिर वहां रह गए. जैसे मैं अमेरिका गया था जब मैं कॉलेज में था एज अ स्पोर्ट्समैन, तो मैं कैंप अमेरिका करके होता था कि नेशनल लेवल स्पोर्ट्समैन को वो लोग भेजते थे अमेरिका कि आप वहाँ पे 2 महीने तक आप वहाँ रहोगे, खाना पीना वगैरह होगा, और आप बच्चों के साथ कैंप में रहोगे, ट्रेनिंग वगैरह करोगे उनकी इन स्पोर्ट्स. तो मैं उसके लिए गया था. तो वहाँ पे मुझे 2 दोस्त मिले जो डाइवर्स थे, उनके फादर भी डाइवर थे, फादर अपना काम कर रहे थे. तो 3 स्कूबा सेट्स थे उनके पास इक्विपमेंट के. तो हम लोग उनकी बोट पे गए और 1 महीने तक हम लोगों ने रोज 6-6, 7-7 डाइव्स करी. 10 मीटर का पानी होता है फ्लोरिडा कीज में, तो 10 मीटर से ज्यादा आप गहरे जा नहीं रहे, तो यू कैन डाइव एज मच एज यू वांट. तो हम लोग रोज 6-6, 7-7, 8-8 डाइव करते थे. तो वो इतना अच्छा लगा कि आज आना था, 1 महीने बाद गया घर वापस. तो वो जब अच्छी चीज कोई मिले तो कर लेनी चाहिए. जैसे मैं बोलता हूँ कि जब कोई टेस्टी चीज दिखे तो खा लेनी चाहिए. पेट भरा हो कि खाली हो, या अभी खाया हो या कल खा, कोई फर्क नहीं पड़ता, खा लो. खाना और सोना जब मौका मिलेगा,
और जब इंसाइक्लोपीडिया मिले तो रोक लेना चाहिए अपना. तो एक लास्ट वाइंड अप क्वेश्चन ये था, ये तो पहले वाला था.
हाँ.
अभी लास्ट ये है कि इतने एक्सपीरियंसेस मिल करके 20 सालों में आज हम बैठे 2025 में. कहानी शुरू हुई थी 2002 या 3 में, जब आपकी बिजनेसेस आपने वाइंड अप करे और फिर एक नई जर्नी स्टार्ट करी. How has these experiences transformed you? How do you think yourself 20 years ago and now, to be very precise? What has changed over the years in you as a
इसमें ना
person?
हम लोग के ना इंडिया में हीरोज कम हैं, सबके हीरो होने चाहिए. तो मेरे हीरो हैं जो बोलते थे, जानी अगर आदमी हालात से बदल जाए तो वो आदमी नहीं. सॉरी, दैट वाज माय राजकुमार अटेम्प्ट. तो आई थिंक देखिए, हालात तो जो हालात हैं वो तो होते हैं, उसके बारे में कोई कुछ नहीं कर सकता. कभी अच्छे टाइम आएंगे, कभी बुरे टाइम आएंगे, कभी आप खुश होंगे, कभी दुखी होंगे, कभी आप हंसेंगे, कभी नाराज होंगे. लेकिन आप बदल जाएं सिचुएशन में तो फिर क्या आप और
नहीं रहेंगे.
आप क्या सिचुएशन और क्या आप अपने आप को इम्प्रूव करें हर सिचुएशन में. वो बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट है. तो आई थिंक पिछले 20 साल में, क्योंकि मैं स्पोर्ट्समैन था, तो मेरी एक अग्रेशन का बॉक्सर भी था, मैं मार्शल आर्ट्स भी कर चुका हूं, मैं शोटोकान किया मैंने 7 साल के लिए कराटे. तो एक अग्रेशन का लेवल था, आई थिंक वो बहुत कम हो गया. दूसरा, क्रिएटिविटी की वजह से जब आप आर्ट्स में आएंगे या आप क्रिएटिव बनने की कोशिश करेंगे या आप शायरी, पोएट्री, एक्सप्रेशन को ज़्यादा तवज्जो देंगे, वेट देंगे उसको, तो यू बिकम अ जेंटलर पर्सन. इट्स अ साइड इफेक्ट. तो आई थिंक आई एम अ लॉट जेंटलर नाउ. मैं बहुत काफ़ी हद तक काफ़ी शांत हो गया हूँ. मेरे दोस्त मानेंगे नहीं, वो सब सोचते हैं कि मैं बिल्कुल क्रेजी टाइप का आदमी हूँ, और हूँ भी कई हद तक. लेकिन आई थिंक पिछले 20 साल में ये बहुत फर्क है. अ लॉट मोर रिलैक्स्ड, ट्राइंग टू एंजॉय लाइफ अ लिटिल मोर. गर्मी में ठंडी हवा चली तो मजे लो, सर्दियों में धूप मिल गई तो बैठ जाओ, ठंडा पानी मिल गया कहीं नदी में तो पी लो थोड़ा सा, कहीं फूल मिल गया तो सूंघ लो उसको बिना तोड़े, आपके नहीं है, अगर किसी ने उगाए नहीं है. जंगल में कुछ दिख गया खूबसूरत, कोई जानवर जा रहा है, कोई हाथी का झुंड खड़ा है, तो 2-3 घंटा बैठ के देख लो उनको अगर मौका मिले. तो आई थिंक दोज थिंग्स हैव चेंज्ड एंड आई थिंक ग्रोथ हैज टू बी, सी चेंज इज कांस्टेंट. बदलाव ये एक चीज है जो स्थिर है. बदलाव के अलावा और कुछ नहीं होता जिंदगी में. बदलाव चलता रहता है एंड आपकी ग्रोथ बिल्कुल आप पे निर्भर है. तो चेंज एंड ग्रोथ, इन दो चीजों को अगर आप संभाल लें किसी हद तक कि चीजें बदलती जाएंगी, आप बढ़ते जाओ, बढ़ते जाओ, आगे बढ़ते जाओ, ऊंचे होते जाओ, ज्यादा अक्लमंद होते जाओ, उसमें आपका फायदा है. ज्यादा से ज्यादा भी मेरे को देर आर सो मेनी थिंग, मुझे बाकी सब की तरह कई चीजें चाहिए
आज भी,
हमेशा. वो तो हमेशा नेवर एंडिंग है. जब आपके पास एक चीज होती है आपको 2 चाहिए होती है, जब 2000 होती है तो 3 चाहिए होती है, 3000 चाहिए होती है. वो कभी नहीं बदलेगा. पर आई थिंक एक एक्सेप्टेंस जो है वो ये है कि एक ग्रोथ पे, एक लेवल पे आदमी पहुंचता है जो कहता है यार अब कब तक भागूंगा सब चीजों के पीछे, कब तक अपनी जिंदगी को खराब करता रहूंगा कि फैमिली को इग्नोर करके आपने करियर में सारा टाइम लगा दिया. फिर आप 62 साल की उम्र में जब आप रिटायर करेंगे तो आप मुड़ेंगे और बोलेंगे मेरी फैमिली मेरे साथ नहीं देती है. पर आप तो कभी थे नहीं उनके लिए. आपने तो पैसे कमाने के लिए किया था ना, फैमिली के लिए, लेकिन आपने तो साथ ही छोड़ दिया उनका. तो आई डोंट थिंक दैट्स द राइट वे. आई थिंक बैलेंस बहुत जरूरी है जिंदगी में एंड आई थिंक ग्रोथ बहुत जरूरी है. तो बढ़ते जाएं, उगते जाएं, समझते जाएं, संभलते जाएं, प्यार बढ़ाएं, प्यार को सोचें प्यार के बारे में. और मैं वो लैला मजनू वाले प्यार की बात नहीं कर रहा हूँ, मैं जनरल प्यार की बात कर रहा हूँ. आप खाने से प्यार करें, अपने परिवार से प्यार करें, अपने देश से प्यार करें. ये बहुत अच्छी चीजें हैं और जितना इनको आप फैलाएंगे उतना ये बढ़ेंगी. सो आई थिंक दैट मैसेज इज इनफ फॉर मी.
आई थिंक ये जो मैसेज था ना सर, ये लाउड एंड क्लियर, और जैसे आपने मेरे को हमेशा बताया, लाइक हमेशा इन द सेंस, देखो मैं पर्सनली कितना कनेक्ट कर रहा हूँ आपसे, बिकॉज आई हैव बीन एन एविड फॉलोअर ऑफ योर कंटेंट, योर यू नो पीस ऑफ वर्क दैट यू आर डूइंग. मैंने हमेशा एक चीज ये नोटिस करी है कि जब आप दिल से कोई बात कहते हो ना, दैट स्ट्राइक्स देयर इन हार्ट. आप दिमाग से कुछ कहते हो, वो दिमाग पे ही असर करता है. सो दैट इज द वे आई कनेक्ट विद पीपल, दैट इज द वे आई कनेक्ट विद ऑल माई गेस्ट. एंड टुडे ऑल्सो जब आपको मैंने थोड़ा टाइम लिया, मतलब मैं 2 घंटे पहले कुछ और था, मैं अब कुछ और हूँ. सो दैट इज द बिगेस्ट टेक अवेज इन माई लाइफ, दैट आई मीट पीपल. दैट इज द बिगेस्ट यू नो लर्निंग फॉर मी, कि कुछ मैं सीख लूँ उनसे, कुछ उनके एक्सपीरियंस में पूछ लूँ कि उन्हें कैसा लगा, जो मैं शायद कभी रेप्लिकेट कर पाऊँ अपनी लाइफ में और कुछ बेहतर बना पाऊँ. थैंक यू फॉर मेकिंग आवर शो मोर यू नो अ लर्निंग कर्व फॉर पीपल, जो शायद इस इंडस्ट्री में हैं भी या नहीं मैं नहीं जानता, बट एक लाइफ लर्निंग लेसन आपने उनको दे दिया. तो थैंक यू सो मच सर फॉर योर टाइम. एंड ऑन दैट नोट, गाना सुनना बाकी है सर.
थैंक यू वेरी मच ऋषभ, बहुत अच्छा लगा आप आए. और एंड आई हैव लर्नड अ लॉट फ्रॉम यू. आपका पेशेंस, आपका पैशन बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट है. बस दिमाग में और दिल में ज्यादा गैप रखना जरूरी नहीं है. जो चीज दिमाग में, जो चीज दिल में, वो दिमाग पे, वो जबान पे सब कुछ सॉर्ट आउट हो जाता है, बहुत आसान हो जाता है. आप हरियाणा को देखो ना, हरियाणा में किसी को कोई प्रॉब्लम नहीं है, सब खुश हैं हरियाणा, क्योंकि उनका दिल, दिमाग और जबान एक साथ चलती है. कोई गैप्स नहीं थी, कोई नहीं सोचता कि ये बोलूं कि ऐसे बोलूं. वो बोल देते हैं, बस
वो उनकी ब्यूटी है.
वो सुन लेते हैं, वो बोल देते हैं. और अगर कभी किसी के घर चले जाओ तो पनीर खिला खिला के मुस्टंडा बना देते हैं आपको. So I think that, you know, every state has a great thing to offer in this country, and I've just given one example. पर थैंक यू, आपसे सीखा बहुत कुछ मैंने.
नहीं सर, माय प्लेजर.
और जहाँ तक गाने की बात आती है तो मेरे खानदान ने मुझे मिलके मार मार के एक फैमिली फंक्शन पे गाना गवाया था. मैं दूसरी बारी नहीं गाने वाला हूँ.
थैंक यू सर.
थैंक यू.
माय प्लेजर सर. अच्छा, ये ऑडियंस वेट कर रही थी कि आप कहीं मेरे को कभी खाने पे लेके जाएं, उसका हम एक व्लॉग बनाएं.
हाँ जरूर, चलो.
पक्का सर?
पक्का, डन.
मेरी सर कभी डिमांड कभी खत्म नहीं.
मैं आपको अभी पता है, मैं आपको भेलपुरी खिलाऊंगा साउथ एक्सटेंशन से 2 प्लेट.
चलो, थैंक यू सर.